Can I write my own real estate contract? So the answer is yes. And in this interview with Justin Bennett, I'm going to tell you how you could lose it all if you do it wrong. So as we mentioned, I am back live with my partner, Justin Bennett, to talk about, can you write your own real estate contracts? What are the pros and cons? Specifically, we're going to talk about, what kind of contract? How do you find one? What are some of the due diligence points? What do you need to be aware of? And everything else that Justin wants to share as a broker who is giving you great information. So welcome back, Justin.
Thank you.
So can you write your own real estate contract? You and I know the answer is yes. So let's start right out. What are the pros and cons of doing that?
So the pro of writing your own real estate contract is it's very simple. It's very easy. It's very basic. You take a 13-page document from our Kansas City area Realtors Association, and you can cut it down to a 2-page document for a purchase and sale agreement between, buyer and seller. We do that a lot of times when we're working direct with the seller, but, also it's less detailed, less descriptive of if things go south, what's covered, what's not covered, from inspection period to contingent on financing, to contingent on sales, to depending upon interest rate, depending on payments, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of protections in there for the buyer in a standard, licensed realtor's purchase and sale agreement. So, or real estate sales contract. So, can you do it? Absolutely. Is it advised? I wouldn't say it's not advised if you're working direct with a seller, because you're going to save a bunch of money on the purchase price. Again, if you found a deal on the market or listed by some other agent, then find yourself some free representation and have a legal contract from a licensed professional put into place.
Justin, what are the things that absolutely have to be in the contract that you never want to leave out or omit as you move into these relationships?
So obviously you need the true and correct name of the seller and the purchaser, how you're going to purchase the property. You obviously want to know the price that you're agreed upon. You need to have some sort of earnest money guarantee that you're going to give to the title company to reserve that property and the right to buy that property. You need to make sure and absolutely have a closing date. I always do on or before, because I want to take possession of a property as soon as possible, as long as I'm ready to start whatever we're going to do to the property. That way, if you're ready before, then that property becomes yours as soon as you're ready. You want to have inspection clauses. You want to make sure that you're able to, fully inspect the property, to walk it with a contractor, to make sure there aren't any unknowns that you can identify walking through the property, and to make sure with the plan you're moving forward with, it's going to be accomplished without any hiccups right off the bat. So, you want to make sure and give yourself those sort of basic protections. Obviously, in deals like this, you're probably not too worried about contingent upon sales or contingent upon financing, because you've got a good idea of it. Also, you have some protections with the inspection clause. If you give yourself enough time for inspections, that you can back out of the deal due to the findings in the inspections. You can come up with reasons or credits that you require to actually move forward with the purchase. And a lot of times that's the easiest way out of a deal with the seller, when the seller's like, I'm not going to give you that much off the property, or I'm not going to fix this, that, and the other before, we close, because that's not what I want. I want to sell it as is. Well, you as an investor have the opportunity to say, well, that's not what I'm signing up for. This is what I want taken care of to purchase it. So, it's super simple to create a contract that gives you the protections you need. But again, in an instance where you can have representation from a realtor, it's never a bad thing, because not only are you signing a contract that's more detailed and more legally standard, it's also, you're going to be covered by, the protection that your realtor gives you through, E&O insurance and all the different things they're held to, and the higher standards that they have to abide by.
And isn't it true that the title company at some level, if you miss something when you go to close, is going to guide you along? They'll be there as a little bit of a backup.
Absolutely. Anytime you're closing, you always go through a title company. Another thing we forgot to mention on the contract, we always want to make sure we have the address and the legal description of what we're purchasing, because that allows the title company to perform a correct and accurate search. And once they give us the title commitment and we have title insurance, any issues that arise during the purchase, whether it be unpaid taxes or liens that weren't found, then the title company is liable to correct those issues for us.
That's awesome. So if they're using their own money or OPM, does that create any other distinctions in them writing their own contract?
Not necessarily, as long as the OPM, the lender, is fine with you using your contract, then it won't ever create an issue. A lot of times, hard money lenders are going to have to approve contracts before submission, or they're going to want to review, and they might make you make amendments to the contract. But typically, it's a pretty standard, easy process.
All right. So again, if you're enjoying this conversation, I want you to subscribe to the channel. Click the subscription button, click notifications so you get this 5 days a week. We are here Monday through Friday. 10 to 15 minutes is what I'm asking every family to be financially literate. And you can always go to my search bar and search for different conversations if you want to know about entities, how to reduce taxes, how to build credit. Any of those conversations are up there. If they're not there, go to the comment bar and put in, hey, I want you to go talk about this. And we will be here every week until you are financial literate and ideally becoming a millionaire. So Justin, I want to come back to the .coms, right? In the entity and trust world, Scott and I talk a lot about people getting just stock and block, contracts off the internet, and, some are really bad and most of them aren't thorough enough. So what are some guidance if people are just going to go, YouTube, here we're on a YouTube channel, or just, go online and Google to download something? Are there some specific points that have to be in? And again, there's state by state laws, I know, that also regulate this.
So on top of the sales contract, and which is very basic in what we just discussed, there's a lot of other documents and contracts that you need to make sure you have in place, whether you're doing a flip or fixing up a rehab or whatever the case may be. If you're not doing the work yourself and you're using subcontractors or another general contractor or whatever the case may be, we need to have independent contractor agreements in place, which, like Loral says, all of these things I'm going to name are things you can find from a numerous different amounts of websites and Google searches and stuff. But number one, we call them the six crucial documents to have in place. Number one is your independent contractor agreement. Number two is we got to have a scope of work. We've got to put a scope of work in place that tells our contractor what they're doing, and we both sign it so that there's no misinterpretation of what was supposed to be done versus what was done. If we say you're supposed to paint this room blue and have white trim, and there's blue and brown trim, we go back to our scope of work and see the contractor's wrong, then that's on him and he's got to fix it. If we go back to the scope of work and it says paint this room blue with brown trim, and that's what we have, it doesn't matter if we want it white instead. If we want it white, then we're going to have to do a change order. But it gives us both protection as far as us as the project doer or owner, and the contractor as well. We want to work out a payment schedule. One of the things we don't want to do is, pay them for the whole project or pay half of a deposit up front to just have the contractor go off and, get 6 other jobs that he gets half the money up front and he might finish them when he gets a chance. He gets paid upon completion, but we have to let him know what that schedule looks like. And we have to agree upon, what we're going to pay him and when. We need an insurance indemnification agreement so that we know that if the contractor messes something up during the project, or if there's an issue with the quality of work or problems caused by electrical that he did after the case, we know that we're protected by his insurance. We see that it's in effect and it's a bound policy. We're going to keep up with that during the project. We're going to be added as an additional insured, so we know if he cancels his policy or if it's paying his bill, and we're always going to be protected as the investor. We need a W-9 because what we have to do at the end of the year is issue a 1099, or else we're not going to get to write off those expenses as a deduction. And that's one of the biggest reasons we're investing in real estate is for all the deductions and appreciation. So we want to make sure we don't miss out on the opportunities to take advantage of that. And then we also have to put the waivers in place as far as the final and the unconditional waivers, so that there's no way that contractor can go back and put a lien on the property because he found out another contractor was getting $10,000 more to do the same service that he did for you. And now he tries to bill you at a later date for extra money or services that he claims he rendered. Once you have those waivers, there's no way he can go back and file a lien on your property. So it protects you again as the investor. And then, if you have all of those documents in place, it doesn't matter where you get them. It doesn't matter, who provides them or if you write them up yourself, as long as you and your contractor or your, whoever is doing the project for you is signed off on that. That makes that legally binding. And in the event of any issue, we have protection. So obviously you follow those steps and you're lining yourself up for success.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And as you can tell, we have a just huge amount of knowledge here at our YouTube channel. I bring experts every once in a while on certain topics. So I appreciate you being here, Justin. Before we leave, those of you, I want you to click the link below and go take a financial personality quiz. We want to know who you are and what kind of category you fall into. With that, I'm going to shoot you back out a video to tell you some steps to move on from where you are and an application to talk to one of our team members. If you'd like to talk to Justin and I directly, put that in the comment section and our team will handle those internal requests. And we thank you for being here. Again, make sure you are subscribing 5 days a week. And the way you start this conversation with your family, especially around real estate, drive down the road. My favorite homework assignment, drive down the road with your kids. I don't care if they're as young as they're 3 and 4, and just talk about real estate. Somebody owns a little bit of everything in this town. And my question to you is, why don't you own more of it? We'll talk tomorrow. Thank you.